That was some music. Lily and Eric, fantastic. When John asked me to be here, he asked me to speak about how does the artist create the universe? Well, think about that for a little while. And I thought, well, that's a good title for a talk. How does the artist create the universe? I mean, the whole big thing? I mean, my God. So I thought about it a while, and I decided there was an answer. And the answer is by identifying with the dreaming creator of this whole ball game. Now, where would such thinking like that come about? Well, it's pretty old stuff, really. I mean, the Buddha was talking like that. He said to know all things to be like this: a mirage, a cloud castle, and dream an apparition without anything and no essence, but with qualities that can be seen. Or know all things to be like this: as the moon on a bright sky, in some clear light reflected, though that lake that makes that moon reflect has never moved. The moon has never moved. Or as an echo that derives from music, sounds, and weeping, yet to that echo there is no melody. Or as a magician makes illusions of horses, oxen, carts, and other things, nothing is as it appears. Werner Heisenberg was also somebody who noticed something like that. He said there's a middle realm of human and animal experience that lies in the twilight between the conscious mind and the waking awareness in here and the physical world we all take to be out there somewhere. Well, it turns out that Heisenberg, who was the founder of the uncertainty principle, might have been thinking about the dreaming universe, that there's a mind expansion going on, and maybe what's happening right now that we're becoming aware of, those of us in the audience here, is that this mind expansion is affecting us because we are co-creating all this. This realm that we're talking about is imaginal. It can be viewed like the dream of a great spirit, so that thoughts, feelings, sensations, physical space and time, and even the self arise from it. Well, what kind of story is that? Well, it's the universal story. It's the story of us. So what does this all have to do with you as an artist? Well, if we take the idea seriously that the universe is being created by a single spiritual entity, then it would follow that each of us is a part of that dream. We're being dreamt, and yet we're also dreaming at the same time. And that may sound really weird until you get into the stuff that I've been working on for all these years called quantum physics. So let me tell you a little bit about the quantum physics of all this stuff. In the larger sense, uniting quantum physics and Einsteinian relativity, which is called the general theory of relativity, the entire universe. Now this is going to sound really, really weird because it sounds weird to me and I can't hardly believe this, but it seems to be true. The entire universe can be seen as two-dimensional information structures. You know what a two-dimensional information structure is? You're looking at one right now on the screen. A two-dimensional information structure painted on cosmological horizons. What's a cosmological horizons? Think of big screen in the sky. Like what is called a hologram. Now this sounds so weird, but it's all good quantum physics. And this holographic principle then says that, by the way, was inspired by looking at the surfaces of black holes, which are pretty weird, I won't go into all that, was that the informational content of anything which falls into a black hole leaves all of its information on the surface of the black hole. That's where the idea first came about. So how does it all work? Well, I'm going to show you very quickly, and I don't expect you to grab all this, but according to the holographic principle, the three-dimensional world, as I said, is projected. Now, how does that work? Well, it turns out that there are these things called light sheets, which go forward and backward in time. Look at that again, backward in time and forward in time. But you know, we don't see the things going backward and forward in time. What we see of these light sheets, which are sheets of light containing information, which make up things like apples falling in rooms, we see it as ordinary kind of stuff. Light coming, traveling, going forward, ever forward in time. These light sheets. Don't worry about it if you don't understand these pictures, because nobody really understands these pictures very well. But I decided to present them to you anyway, because, you know, we physicists are a bit wacko anyway, so you've got to understand that. We present stuff that we don't really understand, but it's fun talking about it anyway. So, in brief, we are nothing but projections from infinity into the present time from the edges of space-time. This is what we call the holographic illusion. That all of our perceptions of the three-dimensional world are really projections from this two-dimensional screen. Wooey, wooey. Where have we seen that before? Well, actually, we have seen it before. You remember this series, great series. The game afoot, to identify with the projector creator. That's the game afoot. And this particular episode of Star Trek The Next Generation was called Ship in a Bottle. Fantastic episode. You can watch it on Netflix if you want. Anyway, in the Ship in the Bottle episode, Dr. Moriarty, which I'll call Dr. M, is generated on the ship's holodeck, which is a funny room I'll show you in a minute. And this holodeck is really just surfaces which project images into a space which are so real they feel real, they smell real, they touch, and all the stuff, just like what we're experiencing right here in this room right now. And so real objects and funny or imaginal objects look like all the same. So Dr. Moriarty has this idea. He says that because he's become aware that he is aware, because he's become aware that he's aware that he's aware, he says, I am now self-conscious. Well, that's very nice. So he then says, since I'm self-conscious, I should be able to exist outside of this hologram, outside of this holo room. Why not? Why can't I do that? So the captain warns him, oh, I'm sorry, no holo-generated images can exist outside of the holodeck. But Dr. M says, cogito ergo sum, which is Latin for I think, therefore I am. Popeye said that too. And commands the holodeck doors to open, whereby he simply walks through the doors into the ship's interior, leaving the holodeck, much to the amazement of the ship's crew. The story is resolved when we realize that even though Dr. M thinks he walked out of the holodeck, he never really left the holodeck. In fact, the whole story took place inside of the holodeck. The holodeck encompassed images of the virtual holodeck and all of the other crew and so forth. So it became a pretty logical story, except for one of the crew members who was an engineer. Dr. M insisted on continuing as a real being. He never knew that he wasn't. So the captain creates an image of him in a little cube, a cyberspace in a little cube, so that Dr. M is capable of moving about in cyberspace and thinking that it's the whole universe. Do-do-do-do. Just guess what we're doing right now. Think about it. Dr. M has no way of knowing this, and as the episode ends, the real crew all wonder if they themselves are just images of some unimaginable technology. Craziness. Am I real? Shang Tzu said, someday comes the great awakening when we realize that this life is no more than a dream, yet the foolish go on thinking that they are awake, surveying the panorama of life with such clarity, they call this one a prince and that one a peasant. What a delusion. The great Confucius and you and I are both a dream, and I who say all this is a dream. I too am a dream. Well, If it is a dreaming holographic universe, and if there is a great spirit dreaming all of us into existence, how do I discover her or him? The mystery is a fundamental feeling, and I feel this feeling, so do you, when I am open enough to see it. If I'm not open enough to see it, I go into fear, and I don't see anything. I only see myself. I'll be in dark illusion, but when I am open to it, I sense this remarkable presence. Now, one day, I had a particular strong impression of this presence. I had taken LSD. Yes, this is a stone physicist, folks. Yes, yes, yes. I dropped acid. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And I was... and this was the mid-70s. I was at Esalen with all those wonderful babes, nude bathing and everything. Yeah, what a trip. I mean, if you're going to invent something, why not that? Okay, so anyway, so I was in this, I was in the coastline of Northern California. It was a wonderful place. It was perfect Earth Day. In that moment, as I was walking out into the wonderful surroundings of Esalen, I began to feel that the world that I was experiencing, the waves, the leaves, the trees, the rocks, they didn't look like random leaves and waves and rocks. I saw this as a great, huge, three-dimensional painting, like an artist actually painted it. It didn't seem anything other than that. I saw it as painstakingly created. Now, I can feel with certain people when I'm in their environment that we together have the same kind of energy as I'm feeling when I felt this feeling at Esalen. That some kind of knowing. I don't really know this person, but yet I have this knowing with this person. This is a deep sense of this to me, and I begin to feel this presence over and over again when I'm with this person. Or right now I'm feeling it with you guys, so you must be having an effect on me. Are you feeling it too? Is it? I hope so. It is more of a question of awareness than just blind belief. So we're back to our story again. My greatest joy of being alive is when I have that awareness. Then the fear is gone, the hole in my chest is healed, and I can only take it then that I am the universe, even if that is only a dream. Thank you.